number one, baby.
Things up, baby.
Dolphins
Things
number
up.
one.
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, got my beers ready, I'm gonna crack it open.
Or is it the Serbian kid?
Serbian kid,
This looks done. Oh my God, it looks fantastic.
I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right.
Congratulations.
Hey, everybody, welcome to a new episode of Dolphins Draft Talk on the clock. I'm your host, Bobby Finstock, joined by newcomer Josh Wingate, host of Beer and Sports. What's up, my brother?
Yeah.
Not much. I'm going to be so disappointed if no one else drinks tonight.
Oh,
So
Dave-
disappointed, everyone.
Dave Steger of Huddle Up and Wait.
Yeah.
Brett Lagasse, Huddle Up and Wait. Evan Posner of Bandwagon. And Michael Vogel of Draft Talk. And can I say it? Is it official or no? Can I say co-host? No, not yet. Bandwagon? Yes. Michael Vogel of Bandwagon. Perfect.
We
Awesome.
can't hear you.
Unmute your mic, sir.
Oh, my help! I mute
So
my mic.
unprepared.
Too many damn kids running around the house making alarm noise. My bad.
Get back in your cage.
Yes, that is correct.
Now I want to watch
Damn
Mrs.
thing.
Doubtfire. Thank you. That's
There
a
you
great
go.
movie.
There you go. All right, guys. So let me just welcome everybody, everyone in the comments as well. We got Steve, Anthony, Alden, everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. You're on the clock. So what are we going to do today? So Dave Steger is going to present his Miami Dolphins team mock. He wasn't here last week.
What a jerk.
Daddy daycare. And we got Brett here. He didn't have his mock. He was here last week, but he didn't have his mock, so he's going to present it tonight. Anthony Manzano, I sent you the link. I'll direct message and it wasn't working. I thought I saw you pop in there, my brother. So if you want to try one more time, we'll see. But anyway, Anthony's going to come on. He's going to reveal his team mock. Then we're going to talk Darnell Washington, tight end out of Georgia. One of my favorite prospects. My number one tight end in this draft.
Go Dogs.
Yes, Josh Wingate is going to take the lead on that. And we're also
Christ's
talk about
sake.
different rumors and stuff like that going on in the NFL in accordance to the draft. So smash that like and subscribe button. Let me get first, guys, before we get rolling, let me just ask Evan, how the hell are you today? Come on.
Interesting.
Come on.
Whatever has gotten him to be quiet, I've
what
never
happened?
seen this.
Permanently on mute.
But in honor of a great Canadian wrestler, this will make Evan happy. He just made the list.
What's up, John? Anthony, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We hear you, my
Yes.
man. All right.
There we
welcome.
go.
Anthony's in the stream. So perfect. So let's get this ball rolling. Let me make sure I have Anthony's mock pulled up. I do. All right. So I'm going to have Anthony. We're going to go ahead and go with Dave first since Dave wasn't here last week. So I'm going to put him under the microscope.
Great.
So, Dave, the Dolphins are on the clock. Round 2, pick 51. Where do you have Miami going?
Hendon Hooker from Tennessee.
Oh,
Whoa.
Love it.
Let's go.
Whoa.
I don't like it.
Love it.
Let's go.
Ballsy.
Craps the bed
Wow.
this year, and they go, we need a quarterback. We can't hang on to two anymore. Hendon Hooker is going to go ahead and be that security blanket for this year after the draft. That's what I think. I think that, and they said he's going to be ready by the time training camp is over. So, he's ready to go. And I think Hendon Hooker is a big arm, ready to go.
Starting
Especially
to show
with
a bang.
Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. We saw him with the 3 wide receivers in Tennessee this year of what he's capable of in those deep balls. So I think it's a perfect fit.
All right. So you make a shocking move in round 2. We get the round 3, pick 77. There's no trades in Dave's mock, but Brett, of course, had to upset everybody. All right. So round 3, pick 77. Where did the Dolphins go from there?
I had Mr. Jack Campbell, I have the
Yes.
Thumpa, the mean guy, the guy that hits like a hammer. I love Jack Campbell. He's able to get sideline to sideline. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the needed linebacker that Miami needs.
Length and mean and tenacity, and actually a pretty good coverage guy for being 6'4", 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like this next pick. I really do. Round 3, pick 84, reveal.
Julius Brents,
Ooh,
big
I
corner,
like that
physical. He can keep stride and stride. I like what he's able to do. And for Fangio's defense, this would be perfect.
All right. Here we go. We're at pick 178, round 6. Dolphins go where?
Oh, one of my heartthrobs, Mr. Cameron Peoples. One of the guys I shouted
I like
out.
it.
I think he's the Dameon Pierce of this draft. Wingate might not agree with me. I don't know. I haven't heard yet or not. But Cameron Peoples, to me, has so much built up. I feel like he was able to explode if he's able to get most of the shares in Miami next year, if he does go there. I mean, he's got the size. He's got the agility for a guy his size, especially. I think he'd be a great fit for that McDaniel-Shanahan scheme.
All right. Now, round 7, pick 240. Dolphins have gotten a quarterback, shock in the world. They got a linebacker, which is a team need. Corner, perfect, love it. Running back, where are they going here at round 7?
Well, a lot of people want to say tight end, but Cameron McDonald's an underrated name for this tight end class. There's a lot of bigger names way up front and kind of those thicker rounds of second, third, or even early on with Darnell Washington, you did mention earlier. But Cameron McDonald had a lot of fluctuation at Florida State, and he's had a lot of big flash plays. With Gesicki's going out of town, I feel like a round 7 pick on a tight end like McDonald would be perfect.
All right. So I heard let's go first with our guest for joining the show, Anthony. He's going to present his mock in just a minute. Anthony, I just have your list, brother, and I know you had some trades based off what I saw there. So before I get to Brett's mock draft, you said you're the guest. Why don't you go ahead and react to Dave's? What do you think of Dave's mock draft?
The head and hooker thing gives me a headache because we need to wait till next year to get Sam Hartman at 30. This quarterback class has too much development for me to wait for a whole year. Hendon Hooker needs development, and I would rather wait for Sam Hartman or some of the quarterbacks next year who can start right away if Tua craps the bed. Dave, I'm sorry. I like your other picks, but the Hendon Hooker thing to me gave me kind of a headache. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, man. That's all right.
Hooker season. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm reserving my comments of Hooker. I just watched. My wife is out there watching Pretty Woman.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So let's get to Brett's team mock draft. Brett, you got pick round 2, pick 51. Where does Miami go from here?
So with this one, you went with the first mock I did, right?
Yes.
All right. So this one, it was I battled a little bit with this one, but I ended up going with Luke Musgrave at tight end at Oregon State. I think he actually is an absolute fit for what they're trying to do offensively. Gives them that seam threat, I think can develop into a good blocker, but he's an underrated tight end. I think a round 2 would be a good value for him. But he's got great size. I love the size. It's a complete opposite of Gesicki. Perfect fit for what we need.
Perfect. All right. Round 3, pick 77. Does Miami stay on offense?
Not at all. Actually, we get a book in. So we're going to go ahead with Jordan Battle from Alabama to go with Javon Holland. I love this because I think both of those, Holland and Battle, both have similar abilities. Holland's a little bit better in coverage, but I think Battle and Holland could honestly be versatile enough to kind of rotate back and forth so Vic Fangio can use his safeties how he uses them. He can drop one in the box, drop one in coverage, and back and forth, and that allows him to keep being creative on defense and not tip his hand to who's dropping in the box. And then it allows Brandon Jones to kind of float around a little bit.
All right. So now it's the Dolphins are staying round 3, pick 84. But hey, something's happening here. The cards have been switched.
Yep.
What's going on?
So Dallas gives us an offer we can't refuse. We drop down
Not
6
happening.
picks to 90. And then we
Tell him, Josh.
Dallas fan in the house.
We get to 129. We get to move up, and Dallas gets 178. So with that pick, I felt a little bit more comfortable here. This is a better spot for us to take running back, and I'm going here with TCU running back Kendre Miller. I just
Love it.
He is such a beast. He's that road grader. He kind of a little bit like Javonte Williams, but he has that one cut ability, get downhill, has good vision, and when he sees a lane, he is downhill. And I love that fit. And for some reason, there was a couple good backs there, but Kendre Miller I just couldn't pass him up on that pick.
All right. So that was pick 90. Now we're at round 4, pick 129. Where are we going?
And I love it because we technically traded up with Dallas, and we're going Jake Haener, quarterback, Fresno State, in the 4th round, who I think is a draft riser and a draft sleeper. I actually think he can sneak in and be a very good quarterback, kind of like Brock Purdy, but as a rookie. And I think he's going to be he has the ability to surprise people, especially in this offense. I think he can do everything McDaniel wants to do, and he's got the ability and the talent. He's a project, but I think he's head and shoulders better than Skylar at this point, too.
Interesting. Okay. Round 7, pick 240. How's it looking?
One of the more underrated linebackers in this draft, Fernie Orji from Vanderbilt, a tackling machine. The dude plays with a chip on his shoulder. I love the way he plays. Like, he just racks up the tackles, racks up the numbers. He's very underrated, and I think in the 7th round he could be honestly, I think he could push for a starting spot as a 7th round rookie. I think he's one of those guys that can actually come in and learn the defense like that in a hurry, and he has good size too. He's a good linebacker, or can be a good linebacker as a developmental piece.
Interesting. Anthony, I got you back in the stream, brother. You heard that. What are you thinking of Brett's Miami Dolphins mock?
I like the Jake Haener pick. I liked his quarterback pick better than Hendon Hooker because Jake can start a little bit quicker than Hendon. Hendon needs a little bit. Hendon has a little bit of accuracy issues, and I kind of blame that offense that he was running at Tennessee because they relied on him too much to run the football at Tennessee.
All right. So,
Anthony, you just made the list.
I do not care. I do not care.
Anthony, all right, Anthony.
He just stone cold your ass.
All right. So now Anthony has got you guys on the hot seat. Now it's time for Anthony to get on the hot seat. Anthony, like I said, I wasn't able to get the pick by pick type of, but I got a list out there. So I'm going to post it up on here, and you can go pick by pick and explain exactly what you got going and why you went that route. Okay.
Okay.
All right, brother. Here it is. Anthony's Dolphins mock draft. I love it, actually. I think it's great. Go ahead, Anthony.
Okay. My first pick is Elijah Ricks. I traded down from 51 to 77, and I got an extra 3rd round pick for extra 2nd round pick from the Ravens. The Raiders. I think they're 77. I can't remember what pick they are. And I chose Elijah Ricks, and he can sit behind X, and our future boundary corners are Trill Williams and Elias Ricks, and Cater is our slot. And then at 84, I got Jack Campbell. This is my thinking on that pick is I think we end up getting a Levante David and Bobby Wagner, and they can mentor both the young guys, and they can take over later on, like down the road and stuff like that. And then at 86, I drafted Kenny McIntosh. And at number 123, I drafted Demario Overshone, and then I drafted Michael Turk at 124.
That stood out to me. Now, I love that you doubled down on linebackers. I think that's huge. McIntosh, from at least some people on the panel, they don't get that much of love. So what do you like about McIntosh out of Georgia?
Because he's, to me, of the core running backs that are left, he was the best overall, that he can block, receive, and run between the tackles. So he's the best overall running back that was left at the point I was picking at number 86.
Oh, 86. Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. So he's been quiet this whole time, but I'm going to make him talk now. He is the Dolphins bandwagon leader. He's going to be back this Tuesday night to lead the bandwagon because I know he's been against the negativity that's been coming up in the offseason. So I'm going to let him kind of run it. This guy, if you can see what I'm seeing, I'm going to pop this back up. All right, Evan, host of the bandwagon. All right, yeah, let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Smart ass. All right, Evan. What do you think? What do you think of everyone's mock draft? Let's start with Anthony, and then go ahead and you can run down on the other guys. You're muted.
What do I think of the mock drafts? In my all honest opinion, good thing they're mock drafts because they're the most unrealistic mock drafts when you think about who our general manager is.
Well,
if you think
that's
about
true.
who our general manager is, this mock draft makes absolutely no sense. Brett's was the closest. Anthony's was okay. I don't know what Steger would think of. If he actually thinks that Chris Greer, if anyone thinks that Chris Greer is going to pick a quarterback in this draft, because the whole talk is going to be, you're already replacing Tua, you're dead set on Tua. No, there's no quarterback that's coming out of this draft in the first 6 rounds. Maybe he'll do something in the 7th again. There's no way he's picking a quarterback in this draft. I'll be shocked if he does. We put one in the 7th. Maybe he'll pick another one. We should always pick one in the draft. He ain't picking one early. This general manager is not picking one early. So I look at the mock draft based on team need. I like what Brett did. I like overall the mock drafts are okay, but they're not realistic of what I find that I'm the homers of us, which was Bobby, myself, and Michael. We're focusing. I thought about it as what Chris Greer would do, not what I would do. And honestly, he needs a tight end. He needs a linebacker. He needs a corner. I like the safety pick, but let's think about what we need as a team, not who the best players are in the draft, because in the end, Greer and this team are looking to fill holes because they're in a window of not development. If a player is a development player, they're going to either go get starters in the draft or someone who can be a development piece behind somebody else, like Anthony said. They ain't going to go pick players who are going to go start next year or are going to replace it. And for once and for all, I'm going to tell you guys this, and I will repeat this on the bandwagon. I'll start every show like this. Stop ripping a guy who you may not like Tua. Do whatever you want with Tua. I was hard on Tua this year. But you want to know what? When he was balling with the offense that he was balling. Yes, in the end, when he was healthy. In the end, we all said it. In the end, the faltering of this team was coaching and development. The coaching in that losing streak was more of a problem than our quarterbacks. The coaching was awful in that losing streak. So let's put the players. We have the right coach in place on defense. Now we have a head coach of the defense. We have a head coach who will learn from his mistakes from last year. Hopefully he can still tell time. And let's go from there. Overall, I like individualized picks. Overall, I think Brett is the most realistic. Thank you, Brett. I do agree with some of yours. I just don't agree with the quarterback pick when he's going to pick him. If he's there, great, pick him. I just don't see it as something that he's going to end up doing, Greer. I think about this draft on what they're going to do. And think about it. I'm just telling you guys right now. Bobby will attest to this. As a bandwagoner, no one was harder on this team than I was during the course of their losing streak. I was ripping them to shreds on every post-game show. I was fine positive on it, but I was ripping this team to shreds. I think they failed last year. I think they underperformed. So,
I haven't stopped. I was ripping them before the losing.
But let me give you perspective as a fan going back as long as I have and why I'm loving doing this draft. Is in the end, we have to be proud of our team. I'll attest it to Wingate. No matter how much Dak Prescott crapped the bed this year, he's still going to defend his team. He's still going to find the way that he likes his team. He's still going to cheer for his team. But in the end, you have to live with what you have.
Have you not heard me recently? I said, get rid of Dak Prescott. I said, he's not the quarterback of the future. I said, let's go get Tom Brady. There's a fundamental problem in the locker room for Dak Prescott. I said, we need someone that is going to be a game changer and change the locker room for the Dallas Cowboys, because Dak Prescott, I think he's a really good quarterback, but maybe not the quarterback of the future for the Dallas Cowboys.
But has Dak Prescott thought about doing judo?
Maybe
if he learns MMA, maybe he could be a better
bandwagon.
So all of that coming around, I think Dak Prescott has played very well. You think Tua has played very well, but I am willing to recognize that my quarterback is not the right quarterback for me and possibly for the future. So I'm willing to move on from him if that comes to where we're getting value for him and we can get a replacement.
Yep. But I'll say this.
Get ready for Tuesday because it's going to be Real Talk Fins Talk Destruction Day on Tuesday. If he keeps with these sarcastic comments, he's going to get destroyed on Tuesday night. Holy crap. Because, guys, let me just say one thing before Bobby goes. You want to know what? We know who our quarterback is next year. We know who our general manager is next year. We know who our head coach is next year. And trust me, no one was harder on our first-year head coach than I was this year. Nobody. In the end, we have to realize where our weaknesses are. And if next year doesn't work out, but we know what's happening. So let's not think about, Tua shouldn't be our quarterback. I don't think that Jason Sanders should be our kicker. We don't think Chris Greer should be our... We know who's going to be there next year, so try to find ways to improve the team around them so we can be more successful as Dolphin fans or as Cowboy fans for Josh. Let's just see how we can make our team better. Not tear our team down so we can avoid being disappointed next year. That's what I...
We should sign like an all-pro left tackle, get like an elite receiver. Wait a minute. Shit, we did that already.
Quarterback that can stay healthy.
An injured left tackle.
But
they took a center. They took a left guard and they put him at center.
He played well at center.
What?
Yeah,
he played well at center. One of the top centers in the league.
Top centers in the league. Have you ever seen him snap a ball? At least 4 or 5 times.
I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched him play at center.
His snaps
were not good, but at the same time, awful. Like there's so much more we need to figure out.
I'll put it to you this way: you're lucky he didn't play under center most of the time. Our quarterbacks. If he
we need a right tackle.
Would have dropped. Anyways.
You need a
right tackle.
If we sign a center right now, Connor Williams is still a valuable member of the offensive line.
Yeah.
To put it that way. So he's not like a issue, even if you want to move his position.
Yeah.
So
Evan,
go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Well, did you think my draft was unrealistic?
I was not unrealistic. I liked your draft. I had no problem with your draft. I said, for me, I just have my only concern in a draft is we know what Chris Greer is going to do. Is he going to go get a running back in the first couple rounds? We'll be shocked. Is he going to take a quarterback in the first couple rounds? We'd be shocked. In the end, he's going to go with defense, or he's going to go with tight end, or he's going to go with linebacker.
Okay, but hold on.
Edge rusher.
He did go with Kenny Drake in the third round and Caleb Lodge in the fourth.
Let me just say this. Hold on.
Years ago. That was in the last couple of years. That was not McDaniel's offense.
We don't know what happens in regards to the cap situation, how Miami fixes that, what Miami does in free agency. Because if Miami goes into free agency and gets these signings and kind of that way they could go best player available, then nothing really is unrealistic. I will say that trying to get a quarterback now to replace Tua this season when there's not really a better option at that spot, unless somebody falls, then you're rolling with Tua. I didn't get any talk other than that. It's kind of crazy.
No, and for me, Bobby, the Elias Ricks pick is based on if we can't get Jalen Ramsey from the Rams.
Yeah.
So update on that. Rappaport just said that Ramsey is definitely getting traded.
I saw that.
Very likely. The Dolphins are one of 3 targets right now that are attached to that.
So and that's something Greer would do in a heartbeat. Greer's the type of guy who's going to do that.
$17 million in cap.
I'm not really into the splashes right now. Again, I'd rather them go after the lower price players, kind of fill out the roster.
Right tackle.
Right tackle.
Trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Right tackle.
But hold on.
Michael, right tackle.
Name me one player in this draft better than Jalen Ramsey in the second round.
Nobody.
You can't. So give me the player that knows the system. So I'll take that because if all I have to give us a second this year and a second next year, Greer's going to ruin that pick anyway. So go ahead and give me the player that's proven.
But you're making, like I said that about the trade you guys made. Is this going to put you over the top? Is this going to get you?
No.
Then why are you making that trade?
What will put us over the top is if we had a quarterback.
We had the nuclear option.
Watch this, Bobby. I'm about to shoot myself in the foot, and I'm willing to take the hit, but I want the description. He opened up the question.
He's Canadian. He's living in Muscat, folks.
Right now, I want Dave, I want Josh, and I want Brett, and I want Anthony to do it because I want to learn from them. Tell me right now, in the first round, name me the quarterback in the first round who on day one training camp with Mike McDaniel, would do better next year, if healthy, all season than Tua. And tell me why. Tell me why in their first year for this development offense, playing with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, this offensive line, this scheme. Tell me which quarterback and tell me why they'd be better than Tua at 100%. Go.
Bryce Young, because he's able to run the offense with a power running game in Alabama, has the deep.
We don't have running backs right now. Name me a running back we have.
Hold Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm just saying, you said right now, as the roster last year even going in, I'm even taking that. Bryce Young will outdo Tua. You want to know why? Field vision, for one. Right there. Bryce Young just came off one of the best seasons in the past couple of years of the best quarterback season in college
with less.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I will take Bryce Young all day long over Tua. Oh, wait. There's he plays all the games in a season. There's that.
That's not what I said.
So I'm not a Bryce Young fan. That's me. So, but I would say C.J. Stroud could come in and do that. I think he's got a huge arm. I think he sees the field really well. If you go back and watch that Georgia game, it's hard not to love him.
That was a statement game for him.
Unreal.
Because they should have been blown out like Ohio State normally
does. He didn't have that. His stock would have dropped.
Yeah, that C.J. Stroud, that was a statement game, so I agree with Josh on that. But you want a different name? Will Levis. It's going to shock a lot of you guys, right? But it's because he's athletic, he's strong, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Got an arm.
Played all 2022 with turf toe. He doesn't miss games because he pulled his fallopian or has like a hamstring issue or nothing. Like he's not Tua. He's not soft.
My injury. Don't say pulled my fallopian, okay?
He's not. I pull mine all the time. He's not like he's not soft like Tua. He's mentally not soft either. And he doesn't have to take judo. He doesn't have he's going to study film, and I guarantee you, Will Levis could come in and run this offense better.
All right, let's go with the homer, Mike.
We just saw Brock Purdy run this offense better than Tua did.
Michael.
Yo.
Where you stand on this, my man?
Say the name. Say the name. You know you want to. Say the name.
Say what name?
say my draft pick. You know you like it.
Hendon Hooker.
Oh!
Hooker season, baby!
Whoa!
I am a Hooker homer.
Yes.
I have one better.
Careful how you say that, but
Yeah,
as somebody who watched a lot of Virginia Tech and grew up with the Mike Vick era, still watching Virginia Tech, Hooker actually is a winner, period. There's no other way to put it. He's a winner, even if his numbers aren't good. When he came in, Virginia Tech's offense looked different, and he won in Tennessee. Say what you want about him reading the offense. The offense they had there is not great with Hoople, but Hendon Hooker is a winner. That's all. I mean, I'm all about it.
Anthony, you said you have one better. Go for it.
I'll top you with you guys say Hendon Hooker. I say Phil Dracovic from Boston College.
Okay.
Wasn't that a Brett guy early on? Didn't you love him last year?
I did love him last year. I think I hadn't seen enough from him, but it's.
I'm gonna say this is why.
But
he reminds
me. Disappear.
He to me, he reminds me. He's Big Ben with a better arm, and he's a little bit more sturdy. Like he's a little bit better with reading defenses than Big Ben was at the same point. Like coming out of college and stuff like that. Because
he definitely has potential. And I've thought about actually drafting him in my second draft because he was there, but I took someone else. Definitely potential with him. But yeah, Josh, that was one of my guys last year. But I didn't see enough. I didn't see him take that next step this year, and that bothers me a little bit.
Bobby. Just like in the Royal Rumble, I think what Santino Morella lasted 1 second in the Royal Rumble. Vogel just lasted less than 1 second on the bandwagon.
Oh, stop.
That's okay. He can come on to Fins Talk OT with Bobby.
Go ahead, Dave.
So everyone had to ask everyone to have QB. They all had an answer ready. So this is like Survivor. Evan, you have been voted off the island.
Okay, Bobby didn't answer the question. Yes, Bobby, go.
But it's not a matter of real quick. It's not a matter of, Tua will be here next year or he won't. It's a matter of why we're in this situation. Why are we questioning if we're taking this 5th round pick? Why are we questioning whether we should sign him? We should only be saying, shit, we can't get a deal done because of all these contracts. We need to pick up. If you said we had to pick up his 5th-year option because Deshaun Watson just destroyed the market, I would understand that if he was playing like Herbert was playing or these top quarterbacks are playing or Burrow. There's no question of Burrow or Herbert. It's just it's not enough. And I can tell you, the more I actually went back and watched all 22, that Lions game wasn't as impressive as people think, and the Ravens game was very actually ugly until the very end of that game. So
the Ravens got their foot off the gas, and the Dolphins took advantage of it.
We're hanging on to these flashes, and he's reminding me more of Mitch Trubisky and flash in the pan guys than he is elite franchise guys. He's been good, not great. I can't.
I hate to say this. I have a better one. To me, He's a more athletic Chad Pennington.
Oh my God! Look at. Oh my God!
What did I say?
It's a bad comparison because mentally Chad Pennington was very intelligent.
Did Evan just leave? We did it, guys! We did it!
No, he's
baby, come back.
But this is what I want to say about the situation as far as a quarterback. You don't know what is happening with Tua. Injury concerns. If you're the front office, you're very concerned with those injuries. I don't know how this turned into a Tua episode. I feel like every episode I'm a part of is a Tua episode.
It's okay.
If you're that front office, you have to protect yourself. Why are you not looking at getting a quarterback for the future? Someone that can come in now, you can develop him now. I love Hendon Hooker for the opportunity that he could come in, be someone that developed. He showed a high completion ratage in college. I think he's that guy to potentially develop. But something just happened. That's crazy.
This house has been cleared.
You guys truly pissed off Evan to the point he's losing his mind. What exorcist? Do we need to call him priest?
Was that him?
No, I don't know who that was. Was that Michael?
No, it was my son who is going crazy over Pokemon.
Oh, that's to be understood. I got it.
My apologies.
Is he playing Gen 1 on the Switch? I know it just came out.
But I would give up next season to know that my future as a franchise is secure. Like, if you want to play for next season, that's going to fall apart on you. I want to develop my future rather than my current.
And I have to agree with Evan that it's realistically, it's probably not going to happen.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. All right. So let's dive off this and get into one of the players that I would love for Miami to take, which is a necessary, it's a need on this football team. Does Miami go in with that need? Do they sign a tight end off free agency, or do they go after a player if he's there at 51, which I hope he is, and Miami makes the move? Darnell Washington out of Georgia, 6'7", 270 pounds. This just a stud, and I can't say more about him. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to leave it to Wingate. So, Josh, man, let's go ahead. Let me pull this up, and you talk about Darnell Washington. Remember, put your mouth on the mic. Okay. Wait for me to.
So, yeah, they asked the Georgia Darnell Washington. I feel like he's a great inline tight end who moves around and a zone blocking scheme really well, which obviously would fit this offense very well. I'm just not sure. I have him graded 7.41, and for me, that is a Pro Bowl potential player, first overall pick, or first round pick rather. I saw his freshman tape, and he struggled a little bit in blocking and wasn't fully developed and couldn't control his body. But you see his 2022 film, and he's a monster. If he didn't have a Brock, I can't think of his name right now. Brock Bow. I can't think of his name right now. But
Bowers.
If he didn't have Bowers, that's who I thought it was. Brock Bowers in his way. I think we could see him being the first tight end off the board. And I think in this draft process, you could see him be that because his blocking is unreal. He can lead block. He's really well at blocking his face in motion. He's just probably one of the best blockers in this draft, but I haven't fully watched all the tight ends, but he's just really good at that. And his ability after the catch is just unreal. So I think it's going to be a struggle to see him in the second round, especially at 51. But if it happens, you have to run to the podium and take one. So that's my opinion.
There you go. So Denzel Washington out of Georgia. Love these plays. Look at this guy. He's a complete stud. Michael, your thoughts on Darnell Washington? You're muted.
Unmuted me over here.
There it is.
Yeah, I unmuted my microphone over here, but now you're the one that you mute.
Great job, Josh. Michael,
of these days I'll get this thing figured out.
What are you thinking of Darnell Washington?
Good job, Josh Kuiper.
I love him. Right? Again, when we're talking tight ends, I think Mayer was my 1 and he was 1A. And if he's there at what 51, 52, whatever it is that we pick, I think it would be a steal. I think he is. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. As an inline blocker, and then being able to go over the middle. He's a kid that could end up being special.
Yeah. I agree, and everyone likes Mayer. I love Mayer. It was Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer to me as the two tight ends, best tight ends in college. But if Georgia did not have Brock Bowers there and Darnell Washington got more touches and more opportunities, are we talking about Darnell Washington being that guy over Michael Mayer? Because his blocking, if you throw this guy on tape, he pancakes people. He throws his body into people. He shows everyone that he's 6'7", 280 pounds. And then on the other end of it, he's jumping over people. He's making that play after the catch. And I think I saw him drop out of the film I watched, dropped one ball. He's got really good hands. He's a really good safety valve for a quarterback. It could just be me being a Georgia fan, but I love this guy. And I'll tell you, I'm not big on the running back Georgia's throwing out. I don't think he's good. I don't like where he could be in the NFL.
Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just you. I mean, I'm not a fan of pounding the table for any player. You know, there's a lot of players that I like, but I'm not somebody, we need to get him, goals, whatever the hell. But Darnell Washington comes pretty damn close.
I'll pound the table for Darnell Washington.
It's not Kyle Pitts no matter what look I had.
Well, I loved Kyle Pitts coming out. I did. Yeah, but Darnell Washington is pretty damn close in my opinion. I mean, it's like having another tackle on the field, right tackle, at that spot, guy who could catch. Go ahead.
I like Darnell Washington more than I like Kyle Pitts. As far as I didn't think Kyle Pitts was a tight end. I thought it was a receiver.
Wide receiver. Yeah. That's the same way. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. So, and then Brett, you wanted to touch on Indade. Indade, thank you for tuning in, man. Smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you. You guys are watching On the Clock, our draft show. Evan Posner, Brett Legassi, Michael Vogel, Dave Steger, Josh Wingate, Bobby Finstock, and of course, our guest stepped out for a second. Anthony was here just a minute ago who presented his mock. But thank you for tuning in. Brett, you wanted to touch on his comments? Go for it.
So, Dave made a couple good points. One, he said that Darnell Washington is his number one tight end for Miami. So that's also something that people need to really pay attention to. Like, why is this player the number one? Well, that number one is just a general number one or whatever. So it's like I like how he made specified for the Dolphins. Some people might like Meyer better or somebody else better, but that's a good point. And also what Kyle Krabs had mentioned. He had mentioned what Kyle Krabs said, who I've known Kyle for a while. He's right. This offense is an outside zone. Tight end is very, very important, right? So, like, when you watch the 49ers, why does that offense work? Because of blocking from Kittle. When you watched it with the Texans, Owen Daniels did a great job blocking. When you watched it with the Broncos, all the tight ends blocked. And the reason I like Darnell Washington is because of his blocking ability. It's also why I love Meyer as well. However, I think both of them will be gone by the time Miami picks at 51. So I think it's more of a dream, but if either one are there or come close, Miami should, consider going after, trading up, going after him. But I like Washington because he's a freak. In those highlights, you saw his body control. You saw him post up. You saw him like that basketball player going up for the ball and defenders really not knowing how to block him. It's a matchup nightmare. You don't cover him with the linebacker. So he's got like a little bit of a Gronk ability in the receiving ability as far as contested catches go. Does he have a ceiling of Gronk? We'll see. Gronk loved football, loved the blocking. He loved that. So I would love to see. I mean, I think he can reach that level. I think he has that ability, but he also kind of reminds you a little bit, and David like this one, of Bubba Franks a little bit more athletic, but it's got that pure size.
I like that.
Good athleticism, but just can block in line, go out and be a matchup issue, just be an efficient receiver at minimum. I'm saying at minimum. So I think Darnell Washington just has that like freak ability where he's that in a sense of like Julius Peppers, where he's like really big but moves really well for that size. I'm not saying he's like as athletic. I'm just saying that for a guy as big, because remember, Julius Peppers like 6'7", 260, and the dude was so fluent moving, and nobody that big should move that well, and that's how Darnell Washington moves. So I really like what I see with him. Coordination is in the open field is there, and you love to see that because big guys like that don't adjust to the football that easy. So I don't think people realize how rare a Gronkowski is, and Darnell Washington has every chance to be the next great tight end in this league.
Well, you know what? And if you think about, go into next season. Tua is our quarterback. We're talking Dolphins. That's Dolphin, not Dave or Josh. But you think about protection, he offers that. You think about another weapon, he offers that.
Yep.
If you want to really help out your young quarterback to try to stay healthy or try to look better next year, you get yourself a player like Darnell Washington. I will say, out of all the mock drafts so far, the first release, the only one who had him going to Miami at 51 is Evan. Mm-hmm. So my hope is that he's there at 51. I hope Evan is right on that one.
Someone get a gas mask out for him.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think if Darnell Washington couldn't catch, he might be becoming a left tackle. That's how good he blocks.
Yeah. Here's the thing about him, like as far as the Dolphins' perspective or anybody with a young quarterback perspective, with him, you don't have to be that accurate. And it can be where he's covered. You can throw it up. Where I love Gesicki, but sometimes in traffic, Gesicki was kind of like, he'd make business decisions. Okay, but Washington, he's going to go up for the football. He's going to go up for contested catches, and that's something you love to see with your young quarterback or tight end for your young quarterback.
And do you guys have in Miami someone that you have that you could just yell their name out? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a player. Who did Green Bay have where the entire stadium went crazy? Your fullback was it Coons?
Oh yeah, John Coon. Everybody thought they were booing.
Do you have that player? Do you have that player in Miami right now?
No, I need it. I need that in my life.
If you get Darnell Washington, he has to become number 0, and you get to call him Big O. Because that's what Georgia did. So you have that comes to
But
Miami.
0 is not allowed in the NFL, though. Dang it.
It's got to happen. They're going to make a rule.
Let me just say, Anthony, thank you, man, for joining us. We appreciate you. I know your link was messing up, but thank you. We loved your draft and welcome you back anytime. Rob's in the house of Dolphins Thirsty. If you're thirsty for Dolphins content, go to dolphinsthirsty.com. Yes, Dave.
Can I add my Darnell Washington little quip?
Yes.
It better be good.
Well, fuck him up. Anyways, no, I actually have a really good pro comp for him. Another tight end that went in the first round way back in the day that I loved, had the same athleticism, same size, great run blocking, Mercedes Lewis. And if everybody remembers Mercedes Lewis, prime Mercedes Lewis on the Jaguars with Byron Leftwich, a little bit of David Garrard. Oh, my God, he was hurdling players, throwing the shoulder, juking people, snagging balls out of the air. Everything about him reminds me of prime Mercedes Lewis.
And he never got the credit he deserved during that span either at all.
He's still with Green Bay as the best run blocking tight end in the
Josh.
NFL. So
absolutely.
Let me ask Josh this question because there's no one better asked. Dalton Schultz, more than likely a free agent, not going back to Dallas. I'm seeing. Talk to me about him as a tight end because he's somebody I kind of link with Miami. How's he as a blocker? Yeah, you get to watch him all the time. Talk to me about it.
He's not the greatest blocker. He's decent at it, but he's more of the receiver threat. When he came out of Stanford, he couldn't block really at all. But I like him. It's just not someone I would invest my money in Dallas as my future of the team. So I hope he goes to Miami so I don't have to pay him.
Does he block as well as Gesicki?
He blocks better than Gesicki.
Better than Gesicki.
99% of the NFL.
Nobody blocks better than Gesicki. Nobody. Not one person blocks better on Twitter than Gesicki.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Darnell Washington, Anthony said he reminds him of Antonio Gates. He is not Antonio Gates. He's a better blocker than Antonio Gates and not the receiver that Antonio Gates was.
He's
okay.
Yeah,
so,
they're different. They're different.
Daniel Meehan, thank you for tuning in. He says Washington won't make it out of the first. Tyler Kraft at 52. No to Bobby Wagner. Built through the draft. Kraft is good too. I like Kraft.
Underrated.
Could catch, could block. He fits right. He fits well with Miami.
The problem with I agree with Indade again. It's a slow development position, and it does take time and patience. But I'm okay with getting one now, so I am okay with that.
So let's go, Michael.
Too bad Darnell Washington's going to go to 45 at Green Bay. Boom.
Oh gosh. God, when we're doing our live draft show each night, if that happens, I'm going to be pissed sitting with.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be hands on his hip meme guy. Like, now you guys get weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when he's sitting with the Jets or the Raiders.
You're going to be hearing this from me.
We're at the 45-minute mark. We're still talking Dolphins. Yeah. Oh, come on, man.
Oh.
So the Sun Sentinel reports that the Dolphins are taking a good look at Louisiana Tech defensive back Miles Brooks. Michael, have you had a chance to check out Miles Brooks? What do you think of him as a prospect?
I was trying to find tape on him, and I only found like him against Clemson, and it was just kind of sporadic. So I didn't get a good feel.
I had the same issue. That's why I'm asking, because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, I didn't. As much as I wanted to get more on him, I haven't found a whole lot.
Get up with me after the show.
What? How do you have more film than me, Brett? This is bullshit.
He's got one team, not two.
But
I have a connection.
I had the same issue that you had, but what I did get away from the film I got, because it wasn't all 22 film, so it's hard to study a cornerback without that. But he's super sticky. He sticks with his receivers, which something I enjoy obviously from a cornerback perspective. He moves very well. He's very athletic. But other than that, you can't get too much without the all 22 film on a cornerback.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll keep out on that. I think Dolphins Thirsty has a report on him, so that's something if you want to know more about him until we get our eyes on him ourselves. Check out Miles Brooks on Thirsty. Defensive back, I think we all need that. I think Byron Jones is on his way out. Let's see. Linebacker Yasir Abdullah. Anybody have it? He says it would be his dream to play for the Dolphins. Evan, I doubt you have any. Have you had a chance to look this outline over? Have you checked into Yasir Abdullah? What do you think about him as a linebacker?
I read a little about him, but for the guy's ranked to go towards the end of the draft, so for me, it doesn't have much of an effect on me. For me, for the way, as a Dolphins fan, for me, these development players, it's great to draft them, but they're going to be depth players on our team. No one we're going to be picking in the 5th to the 7th, the 6th and 7th round are going to be key pieces on our team next year. So he's a nice prospect. If they get him, I'd be okay. It doesn't matter, I don't mind having depth at the linebacker position, but it doesn't have that much of an effect on me. I'm not that impressed.
All right. That's cool. That's good. I like it.
All right.
I'll be putting it on with you. Development players for this team with the window that we so-called have doesn't impress me much.
I understand where you're coming from.
I'm not looking for development. You want to develop players as depth players because we were missing depth? Great. But don't think that most of the players are going to be picking, unless it's maybe a running back, because running backs have a different kind of scheme, a different perspective. But these linebackers, safeties, quarterbacks, any of those positions, those players are not going to be starters next year. It's just not going to happen.
So this might be a question for Michael. There's actually two questions for Michael. First off, but let me read this one here. What are your opinions on Jalen Jones, the corner from Texas A&M, and his partner in the defensive backfield, Antonio Johnson? You had Johnson going to Miami in your last mock. So what do you think about Jalen Jones and Antonio Johnson, Michael?
I only did work on Antonio Johnson. I didn't do a whole lot on his backfield mate. I just cue into one of those. But the other question was Mekhi Gardner out of LSU. And just, watching film on him, like I feel like he does very well, high points the ball, comes down, like when I look at my cornerbacks or, I want people that can fly downfield, make tackles in the open field. He seemed to do a pretty good job of that. And I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the LSU cornerbacks that go in the draft are usually pretty good. So I've liked what I've seen so far in the brief tape that I've studied him on. But
indeed, I agree with you. The cornerback class, like the tight ends, like the running backs, is very deep. Josh, you have some insight on Yasir Abdullah? Linebacker?
I do. I watched a little bit of film on him 2021 because I couldn't find 2022 film. But I don't know if he's an edge rusher rather than like an interior guy. He doesn't really have that many pass rush moves. He's super athletic. His closing speed is really good. He drops back in coverage really well. Good coverage guy. I think I would probably move him interior in this defense, maybe a weak side linebacker. But I just don't see that edge rush move other than that athletic ability that he has. He just runs straight ahead.
Yeah, he's short arm too. That's the thing. He's only 6'1". He really doesn't have the length to hang on to beat blocks on the outside.
Okay, so I usually have on the clock, or I'll switch it up because we're going to go into NFL right now as we're running up on 50 minutes on the hour for the show. But we already have it on there, so we'll just keep it that way. But let's stick with Josh because he is our resident Cowboys fan. And we're going to have a Cowboys topic. Sports Illustrated's Mike Fisher reported that the Cowboys are intrigued by Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. He could be long gone by the time the Cowboys pick. So what would it take for them to move up? Also, should they?
A shit ton.
I don't think it would take much. I think it would take Dak Prescott to move up. So who has the second overall pick this year?
Houston.
Yeah.
Houston you call Houston and say, do you want Dak Prescott to be the future of your franchise? They say yes. Okay, we're moving on. We're getting that second round pick. I don't think Chicago should move on from their quarterback, Justin Fields, because I think he has a future there. He just turned their offense into one of the best rushing attacks in football just because of his ability.
I don't see them moving on from him yet.
Yeah, but as a Cowboys fan, it's hard for me to fully move on from Dak Prescott because I do like him. I just don't think – I think the star shines too bright for him, and he's the kind of guy that he overextends himself, and he's just burning out as a Cowboys quarterback. I think if he moves on, he could flourish somewhere else. So I would like to see that happen. And then I threw C.J. Stroud's film on the moment you put this on our little outline, and I put that Georgia film on because I remember watching that game as a fan, and he single-handedly demolished the Georgia defense, who is one of the best defenses in the league. And I don't know. It would be hard for me not to. If I had the opportunity to draft C.J. Stroud, it'd be hard for me not to take him on the Dallas.
I feel like he outperformed the kid from Georgia in that game.
Stetson Bennett.
He did.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett's
God, dude, he was.
Stetson Bennett was not the reason
No.
that Ohio State's defense did not play great at all, but Stetson Bennett was not great. C.J. Stroud had a statement game.
Dude,
he answered a question. Like, that Michigan game was like, what the hell just happened? And it was, of course, Ryan Day getting out coached by Harbaugh again, that's kind of sad, honestly, to get out coached by Harbaugh. But, like, he goes in against Georgia, and all of a sudden, like, Stroud just lights it up. You know what I mean? Like, Stroud he lit it up against Georgia's defense, and it was more Ryan Day stopped. Like, he pulled it out instead of, like, being scared, and he actually went all in. And Stroud just kind of once Stroud got comfortable, he just started picking apart that defense. And he took what the defense was giving him. Georgia was trying to take the deep strikes away. They took it.
Evan, you have a reaction or response? I just love Evan's reactions. I just love watching Evan. That's what I usually do besides the comments is look at Evan's face. So everybody since to see when he goes, you'll see him just look at it. He'll go.
It's my comment about Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, I think it was Harbaugh.
It's because Harbaugh at Michigan runs a Stone Age offense. So it's like if you get out coached by that, what the hell are you doing?
Then why is he still there?
I don't know. Why is he?
Because Ross runs that program and is in love with Harbaugh.
That's what he goes. Why is he still? I don't know. You tell me.
If Ross was a woman, he would have Harbaugh's babies in a minute. Ross loves Harbaugh as much as Greer loves Tua.
So,
by the way, I want to tell you this right now. If Mike McDaniel didn't want Tua as his quarterback, he wouldn't be his quarterback.
Oh, he absolutely wants Tua as his quarterback, and that's probably going to get.
But that's what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm going to make it very clear for all of you. I said it all last year. Tua, McDaniel, Greer. Those three are tied to each other's hips. As long as McDaniel's there, as long as Greer's there, unless Tua chooses to leave, they're all three together. Or unless Tua and just retires,
okay, so
those three are together.
Well, let's circle that
together.
back.
They're all connected to each other.
Do you like that, though? Do you like the idea of that?
No.
Do I like it?
Yeah.
If they win. Win.
You as a fan, do you like that these three people are tied together?
Do I like it? No. But I'm the one for me, the weak link in this situation last season wasn't Tua. Tua got injured. That's a football move. Greer put the players out on the field. He didn't have the depth, but he had the starters. The failure in this offense last year on why they did not succeed and why we had to face Buffalo when we did and why we lost was McDaniel. And I could do an entire offseason on why McDaniel cost us our season. I could do it right now.
So next Tuesday night, live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Michael Vogel, Evan Posner, Bandwagon. What the hell is wrong with McDaniel? Dave?
This could get ugly.
Well, Evan, I gotta ask.
This could get ugly Tuesday night.
What's going to be your reaction when Tua gets injured by like week 5 or week 6, and then Hendon Hooker comes in and saves the season?
Hey, Bob.
You know what that? Yeah, but you know what that involves? That involves a coach willing to adjust to the quarterback playing behind the starter.
He doesn't need to. He literally Hooker can come in and run that offense, no problem.
Except for at the end of the season
Can
when
you
they
name
lost
me? When's
to
the
the
last
49ers,
superstar
they lost to the Chargers, they lost
No, I
to the
want to ask
Packers.
the football aficionados here. When's the last time a quarterback in their first year who's a superstar now? Look at the superstars who are the GOATs of this league. The Rodgers, the Mahomes, the Bradys. Name me, did they start their first year? Manning, his first year, crapped the bed in his first year. He was 3-13. Name me a quarterback who was a superstar in his first year or two of the league without sitting behind a starter and developing. Name me one. Name me a superstar quarterback.
Brock Purdy in the same offense, went to the playoffs.
Oh, my God. Brock Purdy in the same offense. Was he the reason? He was
a pretty big reason hitting those passes. I mean, ask Josh. I mean, Purdy was hitting passes over
the middle
against that
last 40 years, Bobby. Last 40 years, Bobby.
I mean, technically, Dan Marino was drafted 40 years ago.
Oh, there you go. Good job, Anthony.
Here we go.
So Brett threw this out. Is Jerry Jones tied to Dak Prescott?
I think Jerry Jones is tied to anyone that he drafts.
Yeah.
So
like, how realistic is it?
Mike
How
McCarthy is your head
realistic
coach
is it for him
problem.
to move on? Like, how realistic?
It's not realistic.
You know how Jerry is like tied to his guys.
He hangs on to people way too long, and the only person he didn't hang on to way too long, my favorite Cowboy of all time, DeMarcus Ware, and he let him go just because of cap situations.
Yeah,
but he gets over invested in his players, which good for him at points. But then at other points, he gets invested in Ezekiel Elliott because he loves that guy. He's selling jerseys, and then he throws a bad contract to his way.
Yeah.
And there's a story
this
there.
time next year, this time next year, Dan Quinn will be your head coach.
It's kind of like the Phillies
idea.
Remember when the Phillies were at their peak?
Mike McCarthy's done. He will not win next year.
Remember when the Phillies were at their peak? Don't get Dave started on McCarthy. Well, the Phillies they decided not to sell off. And then all of a sudden, now they're losing like their top players. They're losing Victorino. They're losing Worth. Now they're losing Howard and Rollins. And it was like, well, you should have traded them and moved on from them a couple years prior, and you would have pieces in place to replace them, and you would still be in the runnings, right? So that's kind of like what it feels like Dallas does the same thing. Like, you're 2-3 years too late to trade guys at their peak, and now you're like you're right there, but you're still not getting over that hump because you don't have enough assets to like push yourself over.
This would be the year that will impress me if they do, and they trade some players like Dak Prescott, and if you do trade Dak Prescott, I feel like you have to get rid of DeMarcus Lawrence, Smith, our left tackle. I want to say Tyler Smith, but I know that's not his name.
Dolphins would take Tyron Smith, he's a tackle that plays about 10 games.
Yeah,
and only
I feel like you have like
if you were Tyler did a good job.
Yeah, Tyron Smith is someone that you do have to move on from. There, I feel like this offseason because Tyler Smith is that guy that can replace him, and then you go into this draft and get a left guard to eventually be your starter.
Yeah, no, I agreed. So like that would be their best thing. Like they had that peak offensive line. It was such a good offensive line, and then it just kind of like slowly fell apart. And when Frederick went out, that was kind of like, oh, there it goes. There goes the offensive line. Yeah, because Frederick was that glue, and he was such a beast. But that's the thing. Like, again, it's not just the Dolphins. You see teams get stuck on their players and don't know when to move on. And when it's too late, it's too late. And now you're saying, what next? And Dallas might be in that situation with Dak, or maybe not.
But let me just say this. But Miami has bigger problems in the quarterback position. You know, Tua has shown, I'm going to say this, and we'll move on. Tua has shown that he is. Who said what?
I said you can't just say that because I got a response for that.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll let you go.
How dare you?
I'll just say that Tua had shown last year improvement. He did show in that 8-3 stretch that he could be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. What did he not show? That he could stay healthy, which is a question he's been his whole career. And he struggled against top 10 defenses.
And can he read his own defense?
which was against that 5-game losing streak. Okay, so that's what he has to answer. Miami has bigger problems than Tua. So if Miami fixes the little issues around the team as much as they can this offseason with free agency and the draft, and they go into the NFL or the next season with Tua at quarterback, it's not the end of the world. Miami still has a shot. It's just the problem is you know what's going to happen. It's not an if, it's when he's going to get hurt. Are you prepared for that? That's the problem. Go, Josh.
Okay, so I like how you ended that because that is 100% true. But my answer to that would be, if you have a question with Tua and he plays the quarterback position, is that truly a position that you can not answer? Because there needs to be a solution there. So I agree that a backup quarterback is that way. Potentially, you need to go out and get a really good backup quarterback. But if you can't do that, then you need to eventually find that replacement for Tua.
Evan?
What?
Your faces. You have to say so.
Guys, don't you understand that a quarterback is a function of the setup and the scheme that he's given? Until our head coach, who's a rookie head coach, builds a scheme, don't tell me you can throw any quarterback in there.
But if that's true,
no, it's
why
not.
Is it so hard to find a quarterback if it's just a figment of a scheme?
Because also, I want to do this one day on one of the shows because Bobby and I did it. I want you guys to go through all 32 NFL teams and name me the quarterback. Name me a quarterback. I guarantee you cannot name me 10 starting quarterbacks right now.
I have it on Twitter.
Oh,
better.
Gosh. Here we go. I know they're gonna do it.
All I'm saying is, guys, let's see what happens next season. I'll be the first one, and Bobby said, I said this at the end of the year, I'll be the first one to throw Tua off this team if he takes a stupid injury and plays hero ball. He needs to find it. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Justin Herbert. Find a guy, let it fly. The moment it hits, literally, he should be playing Pavlov's dog. The moment 3 seconds hit, he should be buzzed and he should get rid of the football. If he does that, he'll be successful next year. Period.
So what if I told you his numbers deep? 10-19, which is intermediate where elite quarterbacks play, and his middle of the field, or 20 yards plus from left, middle to right, were all eerily identical to last year. What if I told you there was really no improvement whatsoever when you chart his throws from all over the field?
They still play. They still have the 6th best offense in the league, whether you like it or not, with no running game.
Because of who?
Because of McDaniel, because of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Because of Tyreek Hill. So what I'm saying is he is not doing.
Yeah, but Skylar Thompson couldn't do it. Bridgewater couldn't do it. Give me a break.
Yeah, Bridgewater was trash. Skylar Thompson.
The number one offensive signing on this team this year. The number one offensive signing on this team this year is going to be Vic Fangio. The number one offensive signing on this team is going to be Vic Fangio.
Just to throw this out there, the system was built around what Tua could do, which is limited, which is why you saw such limitations when he was out.
Then fire our head coach. Well, because our head coach believes in this guy. Fire McDaniel. If you're gonna take Tua to task this year, blame McDaniel, blame Greer, fire both of them at the end of the year.
Yeah, but let me just say that. Hold on, before Anthony, I see your comment, and I'll let the guys answer that, or Evan and Michael. But I'll just say, McDaniel did not draft Tua. He agreed to take no, he did not. He chose. The Dolphins chose him. He was hired to be the coach. It doesn't matter. He was a rookie coach. No one else was interviewing him. No one else interviewed him. The Dolphins were the only team. So he's going to take any job, especially if that's the only job being offered to him. They say, Tua's your quarterback. We can't get Tom Brady. We just got smacked. We're getting sued by Flores. So you're going to be the coach. Tua's your quarterback. I disagree with the notion that was said at the beginning where Tua, McDaniel, and Greer are tied at the hip. No. 100%. Tua and Greer are tied at the hip. McDaniel is not. If the Dolphins have another 8-3 season, and then Tua struggles 0-5 again with a top 10 defense, or gets hurt again, trust me, I believe the Dolphins, because of McDaniel, if he's running this team 8-3 and they see there's an opportunity when everyone else loves him and then Tua's crapping a bit because he can't stay healthy, they're going to say, go get your quarterback. Who do you think could be the guy to get you over that hump? Nope. Laugh and giggle all you want. But that's a fact.
Greer's going to know, because you want to know what? If they
McDaniel did not choose Tua. He took a job because Tua was the quarterback.
If they crap the bed again next year, McDaniel won't be coaching this football team because Greer and him will be gone. They're not going to do this.
That's not Ross's MO. That is not Ross's MO. Unless Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh is coming over to the Dolphins, or Sean Payton's gone out, or Mike McCarthy, whoever the hell you want to throw out there, says, "Oh, I'm coming to Miami." McDaniel's going to stay because he loves splashes. Ross loves splashes, but history has shown that when he fires one guy, he keeps another. He already fired Flores, so the next is Greer.
By the way, I ripped up my
even with Tua being
son
hurt and into the playoffs. So if McDaniel already has a playoff entry into his first year, they're not getting rid of him next year.
Yeah, but I would love to sit down and watch, show these films. I'd have to sit down and actually break it down more. But there's a lot on the film that you're
that would be a lot. That would be a good episode. Watch film on Tua.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of times you're watching it. It's just not what you think.
Let me give Evan this comment, because I think this would be a good one to start. I know it's addressed to me and panel, but I think Evan could start it and then we could roll with it with Michael or myself. All right, Evan. Anthony says, what scares me though is that when Skylar came in, it seemed like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill just gave up and refused to play with him at quarterback. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think Skylar was capable of getting the ball to those quarterbacks, because the scheme was built around an anticipatory throw, and then Skylar was waiting for for them to get there. And then by the time he got them there, they couldn't adjust. When Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, because you know me, I didn't miss 1 second of one football game this entire season. The anticipatory throws, the way the offense was built, Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater were not made for this offense. The way that McDaniel schemed it was for Tua and nobody else, and that falls on the head coach, not on the quarterbacks. Also, you want to know what? Tyreek Hill, we're going to say how he balled out. He believes in Tua. Waddle did not play well when Tua wasn't in the lineup. There's something about the chemistry of a team when certain players are there. So for me, I don't think Skylar's the answer. Skylar's your number 3 quarterback. Go get a backup, a decent backup, whether it's a Gardner Minshew, a Mitch Trubisky, I don't care. McDaniel has to learn in this offseason on how to adjust a scheme to the people who are going to play. And if a quarterback gets hurt, the next guy who comes in has to be able to fit into that offense like a glove. So if you're building it around Tua, get someone similar to Tua in terms of his fundamentals to be able to come in and play. That's what he has to do. Or if not, he has not developed as a head coach in the offseason.
No,
figure it out.
He kind of already did that. I mean, he already built the system, and he kind of got away from what the system does for his receivers. And then he kind of although tight end was very limited, that was a big issue with the run game. When Tua was struggling to see his reads downfield, and he opened up everything underneath, he used Mostert as receiver underneath, and Tua wasn't seeing it. Tua wasn't getting everything underneath. He was just looking downfield, and when it wasn't downfield, he freaked out. Against the Bengals, there were so many open looks underneath that he couldn't get the ball underneath, and he just panicked. If it's not deep, open deep, and if it's not checked down, he panics. The intermediate part of the field still gets him, and that's where elite quarterbacks live, and that's a big problem. He's good. He's not trash.
Brad, how many elite quarterbacks are there in the league? You can't even name them on one hand.
That's okay.
I'm just saying that.
But that doesn't mean Tua's good enough, though. How many of those elite quarterbacks can Tua go toe-to-toe with?
I see you, Dave.
I can count on one hand. I don't even need a hand to count. He can't go to toe-to-toe with any of them.
So hold on. So let me just say, Dolphin Don, thank you for tuning in. I see you there. He says, respectfully, I disagree. I don't know if he's saying that to someone in the comments or it was when Evan was talking.
Everyone disagrees with me.
But I think Evan was right, though. I don't think that Jalen Waddle or Tyreek quit on Skylar Thompson. That's not their MO. I think the chemistry wasn't there. It's obvious Tua has chemistry with those two guys.
But he's also a 7th-round rookie who is very, very raw and still learning how to be a quarterback. So they're probably deflated at that point. Oh, here we go again, another quarterback. It's tough. I can understand that. I don't think they quit, but I think mentally it's hard to keep yourself focused.
Dave?
Sorry, Bobby.
No, you're good.
So first thing, kind of a curveball to that question with about Tyreek Hill slowing down, same thing with Waddle. I'm going to kind of hopscotch all the way till what happened the other day. Tyreek Hill went and liked a lot of Caleb Williams' statements about going to play for the Dolphins. When you get your wide receiver one, going to get a guy that's not even in the NFL yet, about playing with him possibly, not even a sure chance, about liking those tweets. No other wide receiver ones do that have a solid QB. Just saying. your wide receiver is basically saying, "Go get me someone who can be reliable."
I don't think
with.
you and I talked
Gesicki's comment about it.
Hold on, yeah, will I be here? But let me just say this: I don't think it was really saying, "Hey, change my quarterback now." I think it was a statement to Miami saying, "Hey, if it's the same as this year in regards of can somebody stay healthy and I don't have my starting quarterback in the playoffs, be prepared to go get a guy next season." I think it was I don't think it was saying I need a quarterback right now, but because he's been supportive of Tua, I think it was more of like, hey, here's an alert because you know who I am, and hey, guess what? All these star receivers that we've had through the years, they've left in 2 years. Next year is the second year. Here we go.
And second part, I'm going to throw another curveball.
Yeah.
Miami already has their backup quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. He's the Jimmy Garoppolo and sits on the bench because he gets hurt so much. After Hendon Hooker gets drafted and becomes the franchise.
All right. You know what? Indane is right too. I love that Caleb wants to come play for the Dolphins. Who doesn't want to play for the Dolphins? Look at that roster. That's why Tom Brady was trying to find his way on the roster because the Dolphins have talent on this roster in regards of offense. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Gesicki, who's gone now. It's a good sign for Miami that a star player like Caleb Williams is saying, "Hey, I would love to play for that football team." I thought it was a good thing.
He knows he has a good chance to replace the quarterback.
So it is a good thing because that means you have weapons, you have a destination, like you have pieces, but it also means that like and when players are like commenting about it, Gesicki made comments about it. Like I think Gesicki's mentioning like he wants to play with a legit quarterback, and he knows that a legit quarterback and Gesicki's years are better. So I mean, I'm just saying, like I think there's some legitimacy like of receivers are kind of like I'm starting to question things right now.
Evan, are you saying that Mike McDaniel and Tua are going to be Cameron and Cleo Lemon?
No,
yes.
That's what Bret, Dave, Josh think the Dolphins should do this year. I think it's time for Caleb. Why not?
Wait,
I think we honestly,
I'm not living through that again.
I'm telling you.
Right, yeah, hell no.
Twitter, the way this honestly, the one thing I got out of Twitter today, I was traveling with my wife and I was looking, is what I learned today is that no matter what happens with this, the fans of this team, we are most of the people, and it's not a shot on Bret. You'd rather be hard on your team so you're not disappointed and you feel right. It's like that person who walks in, I'm about to fail an exam. I'm going to fail. Because if you end up failing, I knew I was going to fail.
It's not a shot on Bret. It's not a shot on Bret. He's just an asshole. It's like, damn, all right.
Well,
he's our asshole, and we love him.
He's not wrong.
Do you fully think Tua is a top 10 quarterback in this league?
I don't.
Fully healthy, yes.
Not by a long shot.
There will be. You want to put the money
15,
on right now?
Yes.
Okay, top 15.
Top 10 next year for sure.
Top 15.
Did he end this year as a top 10 quarterback in this league?
Well, name me how many quarterbacks.
Okay, answer the question real quick.
Bobby.
Yes. It was nightmares. Don't
Are you telling me that every NFL analyst, I don't love talking heads, but every NFL analyst, every talking head, when they were 8-3, were saying that he was playing at an MVP level, were lying to themselves?
Yeah, because they lie about every player in the NFL just to get rated.
8-3, he was playing MVP level. That's why
I was telling you exactly what the fan base is saying now. The first episode I had on this network. I was telling you the exact same thing everyone's saying right now.
Let's go here very quick. We're talking quarterbacks. We were talking Dak and CJ Stroud. Somehow we got back to Tua. Go figure. But let's talk quarterbacks. We know who the quarterback needy teams are in this draft, okay? And we're gonna
Green Bay,
Dallas.
They all. Rodgers about to leave in
Green Bay, Indianapolis, Houston,
Dallas.
Maybe the Cowboys.
Need a backup quarterback, potential starter.
What would be a surprise team that would go maybe Anthony Richardson or a Hooker? A team nobody's talking about.
Washington Commanders, I think, trade up and make it for rookie QB.
Really, the Commanders will go after a Hooker? Come on, Dave. This is
Dan Snyder season.
Yeah.
I think Seattle could be. I agree with. I think Seattle could be one of those surprises.
Back on the bandwagon.
5 though. They're not really a sleeper because I think
I like Cousins, but I say Vikings. I like Cousins, but I'm going to go Minnesota Vikings.
No. They have to have a mediocre quarterback in Minnesota. Flores is on the team now. They have to have a mediocre quarterback, right?
I mean, Cousins is like above average. He's not great.
Man. No, I could see that. I actually
another one.
really agree with Seattle.
The Chargers.
What about New England?
When Staley gets fired this year and ruins
nothing surprised me with New England.
Career this year.
What about New England?
Yeah, they're not sold on Mac.
I was going to say
Patriots. Interesting.
That's who I was going to say.
New England said they're keeping Mac. They said
in the second
trading.
round, I could see them going after Hooker
Hendon Hooker.
And the Cardinals say Josh Rosen is their starting quarterback.
Yes.
Buccaneers are another one. I don't care how much they say Kyle Trask is their guy.
Oh, that's smoke. That's smoke, dude.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Trask is trash.
No, he is not. I promise.
Yes, he is.
I would have taken Kyle Trask over Trey Lance all day, every day.
Josh loves Kyle Trask.
There's film. Go back and look.
Draft a quarterback. You never know with the Giants.
Okay. Whoa, Oklahoma secondary.
Hey, $45 million will make you draft somebody if you don't think he's worth
him in the bowl game. That Oklahoma secondary.
And I like Daniel Jones. You know that.
He's not $45 million.
No, he's not $45 million.
No.
I watched that film, and I don't think it was a Trask issue. I think he didn't have talent around him that game. Who do you have to throw to?
The Saints are quarterback needy.
Denzel Mims was a beast at Oklahoma. Thank you.
Did he start?
Yes.
In that bowl game, he started.
Yes.
It's really simple. Anyone in the
I just remember he had no talent around him that game. He was making throws, and they weren't catching him. A lot of bounce balls over. Yeah. I can't go back exactly.
All right.
The best quarterback in the NFC South right now is Desmond Ridder. That's the best quarterback.
It's not a bad thing. Desmond Ritter's not a bad QB.
No, but that's the best quarterback in the NFC South right now.
That's fair. I mean, it's a fair chuckle that because I mean, like Ridder could be I think Ridder's like a Tannehill kind of guy.
Derek Carr ends up with the Saints.
By the way, bring back Tannehill. You'll make Bobby happy.
Yeah. Hey, as a backup. Hey. All right. So ran a little over, but that's what you do when you're having fun. So Dave, or anybody, if anybody knows anything, do you have any rumors? Anything you're seeing or reading or hearing on going around the league?
I mean, yeah.
All right, go for it, man. Come on. That's what I got you here for. Talk.
Do it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. So the Rodgers news updates. Just clearing the air on this. So a lot of media sides have battled on this where, hey, he's going to stay in Green Bay for his 19th year. And the fact that now there's a lot of people have said that, oh, he's going to get traded. It's odds are in Vegas in Jets' favor. And I'm just saying for anybody for the Rodgers news, please just wait till he makes his decision because he said that all these insiders don't have insider info to his circle. And I fully believe that he keeps like 2 or 3 people where he tells stuff. One of them's his agent, and his agent doesn't really leak stuff like that. So it'll probably be around February 27th or March 1st. You're going to hear the Rodgers news come out. And if he's coming, going, retiring, whatever, hey! Go Packers!
Now I like Waygate a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
But another move is so I brought up the Ramsey move earlier to the Dolphins is a connection, and it's gaining steam. The $17 million cap hit, I wonder how they're going to readjust that, though. That's my only thing.
Restructure, right?
Restructure.
Has to be.
They can bonus out Hill very quickly. They can give him a lot of money.
Yeah, they do that, though. They will shoot themselves in the foot long term, but it won't be this year.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing it.
Oh, no, and that's what I was curious about. There's other candidates like Bobby Wagner who have come out and was mentioned earlier as a free agent. I personally, what Anthony Mazzano said, I don't see him going to Miami. No knock against Miami, but Bobby went to the Rams thinking they were going to try and run it back to get a sure Super Bowl shot. And honestly, like a team like Philly would make sense in connections because they need that guy to run next to TJ Edwards. I feel like Wagner could be able to jump in there and be a connection to them. I mean, hey, he's got connections to Dallas. I believe that's where he's from, right, Josh?
Yeah, he was connected to us last year.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think with his choice now, I think he's definitely because last year was a shot more at Seattle. I think Dallas is more of a legitimate shot than even Philly or Miami because of they need help at inside linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch is not the guy there. He plays scared because of his neck.
He played well last year. Yeah. He was a fan favorite late in the season, and I think he's going to get re-signed. And if he continues, I
just feel like he pulls up.
But that was the expectation going in with Bobby Wagner is that what are you going to get out of Leighton Vander Esch?
What are you laughing at?
So
the comment that JM Santos said Hooker would be a natural here in Vegas. I'm dying.
Oh, I mean, whoo, what a better way to put it? Josh McDaniels and Martin Davis. Another thing as well, Derek Carr has come out to be rumored. He wants 35 to 40 million. It's kind of funny because he blocked a trade to New Orleans, and New Orleans would have gave him 42 million for this year if he wouldn't have blocked the trade. So it's just he would have got the money he wanted, been to a team that has weapons around him. All bite that Kamara is probably going to jail this year after we saw the video or suspended. So he still has weapons there in the wide receiver room, tight end, solid defense. The Saints, I feel like, could be a good solid ad for him. And then Daniel Jones, I don't know what his agents are doing. Listen, I get their smoke screens, but $45 million per year, what? That dude ain't 25 million per year max like that.
He should have just took what they were giving him. He just bit the hand.
Brian Dable helped him. That's what it was. There's no other.
His
Daniel
numbers weren't even. He wasn't even that impressive. It was just like
coach helped the quarterback this year.
Yeah, that was just. It wasn't even that impressive at all.
Hey,
I was a Dayball guy. I just want to throw that out there.
You were. Let me just say, first off, everyone who's tuned in, thank you everybody for tuning in on the Clock on the Fitstock Sports Network.
Like and subscribe.
Smash that like and subscribe button. We got a lot of great content, and I just want to, first off, we had a great show last night with Huddle Up and Wait with a great guest for Pro Football Focus. It was awesome talking about the Cap. It was a one-on-one. No, just kidding. But let me tell you, we got a lot of great content. Tomorrow we got Fitz Talk today with Fish Tank and myself. We'll talk about Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner, among other things. And March 13th, one of the most plugged people around the league, one of my favorite follows, Ben Albright, is going to be on the Beer and Sports podcast. So,
heck yes.
Mark your calendars, set your reminders, tune in.
Send questions.
Dude, it's going to be very cool. So, Josh, that's very cool, man. That's awesome. Do you have any idea what you're going to ask him?
I don't yet, but he is. I like to say this. I said this on the Beer and Sports. He is officially a friend of the show. So
that's awesome, dude.
Moving forward, hopefully he will be on every free agency start date, and we will be able to ask him questions because the last 2 years we've been able to do that.
He's plugged in, dude. I know that.
He has to wear sleeves that episode, please.
I got one question for you. You have to ask him what his favorite suit is because that dude comes out with the wildest clothes I've ever seen, and what makes it work though? I'm like, what? Really, a neon green suit with like bright orange? He looks like a road coat, but it works.
You got to ask him if he has a sponsor for those suits, and if not, what the hell is he waiting for?
So, next week we'll go on another player. We'll go like we did with Darnell Washington. We'll find another player to go more in depth with, and we'll have that little video intro.
Let's do it.
For the NFL part, we can do Hooker. That works. And maybe we'll do another live mock with this panel. If we could get all 6 of us on here, we'll do another live mock. I think that'd be great. If somebody doesn't go decide in the last minute, go watch a movie. It'd be good to have everybody here for the same panel. But anyway. All right, everybody.
Was that a Brett shot?
That was a Dave shot. That was a Dave. Dave, camera off. All right,
Josh,
everybody.
I would have to have a life to watch the movie.
Guys, we're only ending now because someone has to go have supper.
You're absolutely right, so go screw yourself. That's right.
We'll be a chismosa.
Yeah, chismosa. That's great.
So what's my dog ground is Bobby's stomach, guy.
It is. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Smash that like and subscribe button.
Thank you.
We will see you tomorrow on Fitstock Today. And for this show, we'll see you next Friday night. Like, subscribe, and if you're a Dolphin fan, fins up.
That's